Dear friend, I don't know what moment you're watching this video in. Maybe it's a quiet morning, and you've just woken up but still feel tired. Or maybe it's late at night, lying in bed, your back turned to your partner, letting out a quiet sigh, because deep down, you feel like you're not the man you used to be. I get it. I've heard it more times than I can count. As a doctor who spent over 30 years working with men over 60, I've seen this quiet worry. So many carry in their hearts but rarely speak out loud. Most won't come right out and say, "Doc, I feel weak." But I can see it in their eyes, in the way their handshake no longer feels firm, in the long sighs between sentences. And then, people start blaming everything on aging. They think, well, I guess this is what getting old feels like. Being tired, slowing down, losing my spark. But I always tell them, and I'm telling you now, that doesn't have to be your fate. The first thing that usually declines isn't testosterone. It's not even desire. It's blood circulation. When your blood doesn't flow the way it used to, when it's no longer strong, and instead everything else begins to fade with it. Your energy, your confidence, your emotions, even your intimacy. But here's the good news. You can bring it back. Not with pills, not with artificial solutions, but with something much simpler, starting with a few familiar fruits right there in your kitchen. Today, I want to share with you 5 powerful fruits I like to call nature's remedy for men's vitality. They're not just good for blood flow, they'll help you feel like yourself again. So, if you've ever thought to yourself, maybe it's too late now, I invite you to stay with me till the end of this video. Because maybe this isn't the end of the road. Maybe it's the beginning of a new chapter. One where you feel stronger, more alive, more confident. A chapter that you get to write. Number 1. Pomegranate. Reawakening your circulation. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a river that once flowed strong and fast, feeding the entire field with life. But over time, that river slows, turns still, sometimes even gets clogged. That's the image I often use when talking about blood circulation in older adults, especially men over 60. You see, blood isn't just what keeps your body alive. It's what carries energy, emotion, and yes, a man's sense of vitality. When blood doesn't flow like it used to, it's not just cold hands and foggy thinking. Even those more sensitive areas can start falling asleep. I remember one of my patients, James, 72 years old, sat across from me one day, voice barely steady. "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. I feel dull, weak, and worst of all, I think my wife doesn't look at me the way she used to." I didn't hand him a prescription. Instead, I handed him a small glass of pomegranate juice, what I like to call the essence of renewal for the mature man. Pomegranate, this beautiful red fruit, is more than just a pretty color. It's a silent warrior for your circulation system. Inside those ruby seeds lies a real treasure, punicalagina, powerful antioxidant that protects blood vessels from aging, reduces inflammation, and, most importantly, boosts your body's natural production of nitric oxide, the compound that helps blood vessels relax and expand, allowing blood to flow more freely throughout the body. For older men, nitric oxide is like a conductor in an orchestra, helping blood reach the right places at the right rhythm, both physically and emotionally. In one study I often share, men who drank just 6 ounces of pomegranate juice daily saw real changes in just 2 weeks. Improved firmness, better endurance, and maybe most important, a renewed sense of confidence. No pills, no side effects. Just the body waking back up with a little help from nature. James followed through. Every morning, 1 small glass of pure pomegranate juice. 3 weeks later, he came back to my office. But this time it was a different James. His eyes brighter, his posture straighter, and with a mischievous little grin, he said, "Doc, I think my wife's falling in love with me all over again." We both laughed. But deep down, I knew that smile came from a man who had found his way back to himself. Do you see a little of yourself in James? If you do, don't worry. You're not broken. You're not empty. You're not past your prime. Maybe all you need is for your blood to flow in rhythm again. And the pomegranate with its deep red color, full of life and love, might just be your starting point. Number 2. Avocado. Reviving testosterone and protecting your heart. There's something many men don't say out loud, but I think you'll understand exactly what I mean. It's that quiet feeling that you're no longer truly a man. One of my patients, Michael, 68, came to see me about a year after he retired. This was a man who used to run an entire company sharp, busy, commanding. But that day, he sat across from me, eyes downcast, voice low. "Doc, I don't know what's happening to me. Nothing excites me anymore. And I don't just mean that part of life. I mean everything. It feels like my fire went out." That hit me no because it was rare, but because it was so familiar. You see, many men over 60 come to me not because of illness, but because they no longer feel like themselves. What most of them don't realize is that testosterone, the hormone tied to energy, confidence, and zest for life, starts to quietly decline every year after 50. But here's the amazing part. You don't need expensive patches or synthetic hormones. Sometimes, all it takes is half an avocado a day. Avocado, soft, humble, often overlooked, is rich in monounsaturated fats, the natural building blocks your body uses to produce testosterone. It's also packed with zinc and magnesium, two minerals critical for healthy male hormone balance. Vitamin B6, which helps reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that quietly kills desire and drains your drive. But there's more. Avocados are heart-friendly too, and that matters. Because healthy circulation is the foundation of male performance and vitality. When I suggested Michael start with just half an avocado each morning, he looked surprised. "That's it, Doc? I thought I'd need some kind of prescription." A week later, he called me, and his voice already sounded different. "I'm not saying I feel 30 again, but something's come back. I feel more alert, more focused. I want to do things again. And my wife, well, she noticed it too." See? Sometimes the most powerful change doesn't come from a clinic, comes from your kitchen. Even if your body has seen many seasons, it still knows how to recover if you give it the right fuel. So if you've been feeling that slow chill, that sense of fading, don't be too quick to blame age. Start again with an avocado, with a quiet, nourishing breakfast, and with the belief that you are still the man you once were. You're just finding your way back home to him. Number 3. Banana. Fuel for blood flow and brain power. Have you ever woken up in the morning with your head feeling heavy as a rock? Your body stiff and tired as if you hadn't slept at all, even though you were in bed for 7 or 8 hours? If so, you're not alone. I've heard this hundreds of times from my older patients. "Doc, I feel exhausted the moment I open my eyes. I don't have the energy to do anything. Even making a cup of coffee feels like a chore." And I usually ask just one simple question. "What did you have for breakfast today?" The answers are almost always the same, either nothing at all or just coffee. That's when I tell them about Thomas, 73 years old, a retired principal who used to live a very disciplined life. When he first came in, he was constantly fatigued, mentally foggy, emotionally flat. No major illness, no specific pain. He just said, "I don't feel like I'm living anymore. I'm just existing." After reviewing his routine, the cause became pretty clear. He was starving his brain and heart from the moment he woke up. You see, after 60, your body no longer kickstarts the way it used to. It needs a clear signal of fuel, and one of the simplest, most powerful gifts you can offer it each morning is a banana. Don't let the banana's plain look fool you. Inside, it's packed with potassium, a crucial electrolyte that helps keep blood pressure stable, relax blood vessel walls, and support smooth blood flow to your heart and brain. But it doesn't stop there. Bananas also contain magnesium, vitamin B6, and most importantly, Tryptophan, an amino acid your body uses to make serotonin, the feel-good hormone that eases stress, improves mood, and helps you feel emotionally steady. So I asked Thomas to try something very simple. Each morning, eat one ripe banana maybe with a spoon of natural peanut butter and drink a glass of warm water. That's it. 2 weeks later, he returned, and I didn't even have to ask how he was doing. I saw it in the way he walked in. Straighter back, brighter eyes, and most of all, a voice full of energy. "Doc, I feel awake again. No more fog. And the best part, I feel happy. Genuinely happy." Bananas aren't magic, but they are fuel that older bodies often lack, but deeply need. Don't underestimate your breakfast. It sets the tone for your blood, your brain, and your spirit. And sometimes, one banana in the morning is all it takes to pull you back into the feeling of truly being alive. If lately you felt sluggish, forgetful, or down, ask yourself, when was the last time I fed my brain something it actually needed? Maybe it's time to start again with just one banana, and the belief that your body still knows how to wake up. It just needs you to give it a chance. Number 4. Pineapple. Soothing inflammation, softening vessels, and boosting deep circulation. Let me ask you to picture this. If blood is like a river, then your blood vessels are the riverbed. And what happens when that riverbed becomes rough, hardened, or filled with debris? The flow slows down. Downstream areas don't get enough water. And slowly, life begins to fade. That's exactly what happens inside the bodies of millions of people after age 60 when silent inflammation damages the inner walls of their blood vessels, quietly disrupting healthy circulation. You might not feel it clearly, but it could be the reason why you feel tired even when you haven't done much. You wake up with joint pain every morning, or even why you're not as responsive as you used to be in intimate moments. Most people think of cholesterol, blood pressure, or blood sugar. But there's another quiet culprit: chronic vascular inflammation. And to fight it, I often turn to one humble fruit, pineapple. It's not fancy, not expensive, but it contains something powerful, an enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain has the ability to reduce inflammation in the inner lining of blood vessels so the riverbed can heal, prevent platelet clumping, which keeps blood flowing freely and reduces clot risk, support protein digestion, helping your body absorb key nutrients that power circulation and even male performance. One of my patients, Leonard, 74, had been struggling with chronic headaches, unstable blood pressure, and frequent insomnia. When I reviewed his diet, I noticed it was severely lacking in anti-inflammatory foods. I suggested something simple. Add 3-4 slices of fresh pineapple to your breakfast every day. At first, he agreed just because it sounded easy. But 2 weeks later, he walked into my office and said, "Doc, I honestly can't remember the last time I woke up without a headache until this past week." He said he felt lighter, breathing came easier during walks, and his sleep much deeper. I wasn't surprised, because once inflammation calms down, blood begins to flow smoothly again. The body no longer has to brace itself to survive, it finally gets to rest, to heal. I truly believe pineapple is one of the most overlooked gifts for fighting inflammation. These days, people avoid fruit, worry about sugar, cut things out of their diets, but they forget pineapple isn't just a fruit. It's nature's gentle medicine. Of course, I always remind patients to choose fresh pineapple raw, untreated, not the kind soaked in syrup or canned. Because the benefits don't come from the sweetness, they come from living enzymes still active inside. So if you're taking anti-inflammatory meds, dealing with chronic aches, or just feel like your body isn't flowing the way it used to, think of pineapple. You don't have to change everything in one day. Start with just a few slices as a quiet apology to the blood vessels you may have forgotten for too long. And who knows, that first spark of renewal might just come from something this small. Number 5. Kiwi. Deep sleep and male hormones. Let me tell you something. There's one silent, invisible factor that affects almost every part of a man's life after 60. It's not cholesterol. It's not blood sugar. It's sleep. Sounds simple, right? But I've seen countless men strong, capable, once the rock of their families begin to unravel, all because they could no longer sleep well. One of my patients, Richard, 70 years old, once told me, "Doc, I honestly can't remember the last time I slept through the night. I lie down, toss and turn, maybe get a few hours, then I'm up again, mind racing. And when I wake up, I feel like I never rested at all." When sleep deprivation becomes chronic, it doesn't just drain your energy, it drains your testosterone too. And when testosterone drops, everything else starts to fall with it. Your circulation, your performance, your mood, even your drive to get up and live. But here's the other side of that truth. When you sleep deeply naturally, your body starts producing testosterone again, especially between 1 and 5 a.m. That's the sacred window when your cells quietly recharge your life force. And here's the part many people overlook. A small green fruit often passed by on grocery shelves can actually help unlock that sleep. It's kiwi. Kiwi is naturally rich in serotonin, the chemical that regulates your sleep-wake cycle, helps stabilize your mood, and gently leads you into deep, restorative rest. It's also packed with vitamin C to reduce oxidative stress and calm your nervous system, folate and vitamin E, which supports cellular repair and nighttime recovery, and natural fiber and digestive enzymes to ease digestion and help your body rest more comfortably at night. I told Richard, try eating 2 ripe kiwis about an hour before bed every night for 2 weeks. That's it. No sleeping pills, no screens, nothing fancy. A week later, he called me, his voice full of quiet gratitude. "Doc, I wouldn't call it a miracle, but for the first time in years, I slept more than 5 hours straight without waking up. And when I woke up, I felt clear, really clear." I smiled, because I knew that sleep was just the beginning of something bigger. A stronger immune system, more energy during the day, and yes, testosterone beginning to rise again, naturally. Kiwi isn't a sleeping pill, but it's a gentle signal telling your body, it's time to rest, to heal, to rebuild. So, if you've been tossing and turning each night, if you feel tired for no clear reason, uninspired, or just empty inside, maybe what you need isn't something more to do. Maybe you just need real sleep. And that journey back to yourself? It might just begin with 2 little kiwis tonight. If you've ever thought that improving your health, energy, and vitality after 60 had to be expensive or complicated, I'd like to invite you to try something very simple. A gentle daily ritual. Just a few minutes a day. But it might just change the way you feel, move, and live. In the morning, start with 1 glass, about 6 ounces, of pure pomegranate juice to wake up your circulation and get blood flowing where it matters. Half an avocado to nourish your testosterone, protect your heart, and calm your hormones. 1 ripe banana for steady energy all day and a soothed nervous system. And a few slices of fresh pineapple to ease silent inflammation and help blood flow more freely. All of this takes less than 5 minutes. At night, about an hour before bed, eat 2 ripe kiwis. They'll help you sleep deeper and longer, and during that sleep, your body will quietly restore testosterone and rebuild your energy from within. You may not notice a change overnight, but give it 1 to 2 weeks. And, like many of my patients, you may begin to feel warmer hands and feet, better blood flow, deeper sleep, waking up refreshed, lighter, moodless, tension, more clarity, and most importantly, a natural return of intimacy without pressure, without anxiety. This isn't magic. It's simply the body responding beautifully when it's given the right signals, the right nutrients, at the right time. And sometimes, that response begins with nothing more than a kiwi and a glass of pomegranate juice. Dear friend, If you've made it this far, I believe you're like me. Someone who doesn't want to surrender to age, but chooses instead to listen to their body, to understand it a little more, day by day. Growing older is not the end. It's simply a new chapter, a time when we may slow down but live more deeply. And we begin to realize true health doesn't come from medication. It comes from small daily choices, repeated with care. A glass of pomegranate juice, a banana in the morning, 2 kiwis before bed. That's it. But even those simple steps can open the door to a stronger body, a lighter spirit, and a sense of vitality that returns not because you forced it, but because you nourished it from the inside out. I always remind my patients, you are never too old to heal, as long as you're not in too much of a hurry to give up. If this video touched something in you, please share it with the men you care about. A father, a brother, a friend, someone who might need just a little faith to begin again. And if you'd like to walk this journey with me toward a healthier, fuller life after 60, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, so we can meet here again every week like old friends. Thank you for listening with your whole heart. I'll see you in the next video.